Hello everybody. In this video we're going to explore a new type of chart called the pie chart. Just like the charts that we used in the previous lectures, like clustered column chart, line chart, charts will require a data range in order to display. So to follow along this video, please download the data file which is located in the lecture notes folder in Blackboard. So here, let's go to Blackboard, let's go to lecture notes, and then you're going to navigate to Excel, and then chapter 3, and then you see you have video lecture data file. Go ahead and click on that, and as you see, I'm using the Chrome browser and it downloaded. If I click on this down arrow and I click on show in Finder, it is normally downloading it to downloads folder. Go ahead and open it. As you see, I downloaded it several times, so I am just going to open it, and I'm going to open it with Excel. Here it is. And as you see, I have this chart opened. It says Excel3A script data file. You may have the security warning. If you see it, go ahead and enable it. And we need to rename this file as something else. I'm going to rename it as, let me go back here. Let me click on File. Let me click on Save As. And then I'm going to pick a location. So location rather than downloads, I'm going to click on more options. I'm on a Mac, as you see, so mine is a little bit different, but you've done this in the class many times. So as you see here, I'm going to save mine to my external hard drive under Miami-Dade College, and let's go here and under lectures, and I'm just going to rename this file. This is going to be my last name, followed by my first name initial, Excel, then -3A, to signify that this is chapter 3A, first part. Go ahead and click on OK. The new name of your file should be reflected here in the title bar, and that's pretty much it for now. Now let's take a look. Spreadsheet that we have. This is a workbook that has only one sheet, one spreadsheet. It's called income. As you see, a lot of text attributes have been added for us. So we have a title, then we have a subtitle with already text attributes applied to it. And then we have two columns, actually three columns: income from fees, quarter total, and then percent of quarter fees. And then we have different categories of fees: membership, sponsors, and so on and so forth. And we also have a total row, which is total income from fees. That is basically, as you see when I click on this, this is a summation of these fees. This column here, percent of quarter fees, is empty. And we're going to have to enter a formula here in order to compute that. And as you know, to compute or to start a formula, we need to start with an equal sign. And the formula for this is going to be a fraction, where we take any of these categories and we divide. So we're going to put forward slash. We're going to divide that by the total income from fees. At this point, I can click the soft enter to keep my cell active. Now, if I was to propagate this formula, apply it, or copy it rather, to this column, I'm going to end up with this error. And this error says that this is division by 0. See here, my formula is correct because I'm dividing B4 with B12. And then here I'm dividing B5 with B13. Here I'm dividing B6 with B14, and so on and so forth. You have also learned that we can go to formulas, and then we can trace precedence to see how or which cells participated in this formula. And here it's correct because we're dividing B4 by B12. So this is just a visual cue. Then if you remove arrows, if you click here and click on trace precedence, you're going to see that we are dividing by 0. That's where that division by 0 is coming from. Let's take a look at another one. Arbitrarily I click on this one and I trace precedence, and as you see here we have B4 divided by B16. In B16 we have 0, so that's why we have this error here. All right, so how do we fix this? The issue that we have, as you learned, let me first get rid of this. Let me delete these. So let me select, and then let me go to home. Let me go to clear, and then let me clear contents. All right, so let's go back to the formula. In the formula, Excel, by default, when we propagate it like so, it's going to treat the cells as a relative reference. What does that mean? Recall from a recent class lecture that relative reference basically just increases rows accordingly as we move, as we copy the formula. So here we have B4 divided by B12. Then here we want to have B5. We want B5 to be divided by B13, but Excel thinks that by B12, I apologize, but Excel thinks that we want to actually divide it by B13, because by default it is using what is known as the relative reference. And as you see, B8 is dividing by B18, and that's why we have this issue. So to fix this problem, what we need to do is we need to change our formula from relative reference to an absolute reference. Okay, so how do we tell Excel to make an absolute reference for B12? Come on, you know I can hear you. Oh, okay, I think you said that I need to position the cursor right here before B12, and then I need to press the function key F4. As you see, Excel has put $ in front of B and in front of 12, number 12. So now we have an absolute formula, and then we want to keep this cell active, so we're going to click the soft enter, and then we're going to copy this formula further in this column. So please copy it all the way to C11. All right, now with the selection, let's make this into different number styles. So we're going to change it to % style, and let's go ahead and center it because it's left oriented. All right, let's go ahead and click away and then save your work. All right, so far so good. This was a little bit of review of things that we already learned in previous class lectures. So now actually this is also going to be review. We're going to select two non-adjacent ranges. So I'm going to select A4 all the way through A11. I'm going to hold the control key and I'm going to select this range here in C4 through C11, and I'm going to insert a chart. When you hear keyword insert, you gotta go to insert, and what do we want to insert? We want to insert charts, so we're going to go towards the center of the ribbon and we're going to find charts here, and we have a variety of charts to choose from. Today we're going to insert a pie chart. So let's go ahead and click on the pie chart. You have 2D, 3D, donut, and then you also have more pie charts that you can click here and explore. So those are all different pie charts. I am going to stick with 3D pie chart. When I click on OK to close this dialog box, I get my pie chart inside of this current spreadsheet. And in the past, we have learned to move this chart to a desired location by going at the edge of the chart and watching our cursor change shape to this shape of 4 arrows. At this point we left mouse clicked, and then we moved the chart, our chart to a location, for example here or somewhere else. Okay, today we're going to learn something new. Instead of moving this chart and positioning it on the current spreadsheet, we're going to put this chart in a new spreadsheet. And recall from previous lectures, when I am not on the chart, I do not have what they call chart tools. When I click on the chart, I get chart tools here in the ribbon. Here it is again, not on the chart. Then I select the chart, I get chart tools up here. And in chart tools I have 2 menu options. One is design, one is format. So by default design is going to be selected, and in the design menu to the right under location function group you have move chart. If you hover over it, it's going to display a tooltip and it says move this chart to another sheet or tab in the workbook. So let's go ahead and click on that. As you see, you get move chart dialog box, and by default right now we have only 1 sheet in here. If you had multiple sheets, you could choose here from a list of sheets where you want to move it. Okay, but right now we just have 1 sheet, so that's why you say you see this only 1 selection, and that is the default behavior. Now what we want to create a new sheet, and that's why we're selecting this radio button here, and now we need to give it a name, and we're gonna call this income from fees chart. That is the name of the new sheet. Now please focus your attention down here. You're gonna see a new sheet being created when I click on the OK. So let me click on OK, and you see income fees from chart has been created, and it was placed to the left of the current chart. So just like your summary sheets, charts are always placed to the left. It is customarily to put the summary sheet as the first sheet, followed by charts, and then followed by data. All right, let's go ahead and save our work. And with the chart selected, we're going to click on the format. And in the format, this should be familiar because you've done this before. You have an option to change the colors, and you have option to, for example, select this chart title, which is just a placeholder, and then let's change that text. We're going to replace this with fee source. Okay, so let's select it. Let's go back to the format tab, and then let's go ahead, click on the word art styles. And as you see, when you click on it, you have different styles. This is text that has been attributed with colors and some shadows. As you see here, you have shadows, gradient fill, dark purple, accent color 5, reflection. So take a moment here and slow down your cursor movement over each of these options so that you get the tooltip, so that you can see the names of choices that are available to you. I'm going to pick this one here, which is fill, dark green, accent, color 4, soft bevel. So go ahead and click on that. Notice that our font has changed a little bit and the color has been changed. And then here I'm going to make the font size 36. So click on this down arrow and let's select 36. Okay, let's go ahead and click away, and let's go ahead and save our work. All right, another thing I want you to notice, when I click anywhere on the white space in the chart, I get these 3 icons. If I select the chart, I can select the chart, and besides the title, I have down here explanation what each color means. This is known as the legend. So let's take a look at these icons here that we have. These are chart elements, this is chart styles, and then these are the filters. You can also find them, you can find them in chart tools, and if you look at chart elements, you can change the chart title, you can add data labels and stuff like that. So let's use the first one. Let's use chart elements. Let's click here, and then I want to get rid of this legend on the bottom. So that is as simple as just unchecking the legend. So if you want the legend, you click on it, you get the legend, and then the position of the legend, you can click on this right arrow, and as you see by default is right. I can make it go on top, I can make it go on left, I can make it go on bottom, or I can click on more options, and then I get format legend pane, where I can format that even further. For now, all I want to do is get rid of the legend. I don't want to have legend in the chart. All right, so let's click on data labels. Let's enable data labels. As you see, by default it puts the values, the percentages, which actually come from the income sheet. So 12, 5, 16, so on and so forth. These are the percent values that we just calculated, and they're displayed here. So let's see how they're displayed. Let's see if we can change that. Click on this. When you hover over data labels, see the arrow is not there unless you hover over the data labels, and then you click on that, and then you can see if it's centered. If you want the data labels to be in the center, if you want to have them on the inside end, if you want to have them on the outside end, if you want them to be on the best fit, if you want them to be like a data call out, and then obviously you have more options where you get format data label pane, and then you can choose what you want to do. All right, we're gonna this time demonstrate with more options. As you see, you have several different icons. Let's see what they are. First one is fill and line effects. Notice I'm just moving my cursor, I'm not clicking on them, and I'm getting the tooltip. This is size and properties, and then the last one is label options. Here I'm going to stick with this. Before we make some changes here, let's click on the first one and see what we have. We have fill and border, and we're going to explore that a little bit later on. Then on this one, which is effects, we have shadow, we have also glow, and we're going to take a look at some of that. Soft edges, we have 3D format, I'm going to play with that in a minute. And then here we have size and properties. We can do size, alignment, we'll look at that a little bit later on, but for now let's take care of the label options. And then in label options on this pane, we're going to choose that we have label options, as you see here. Okay, that is section, and then we have number, where we can change how we display this number, if we want it as currency and stuff like that. So let's first deal with label options. Select category name and select percentage, and we're going to get rid of the value, and we're going to get rid of the leader lines. So the only thing we want here is category, and we want percentage. Okay, go down here to the label position. As you see, by default is best fit. We can center it, we can make it on inside end. I can't read this because the color is a little too similar to the background colors or the color of the slice. So let's click on outside end. Okay, this looks a little bit better. All right, let's click on one of these labels. First right click, and then click on the font. And as you see, you get the font dialog box. Here what we want is the style to be bold, and then size you can increase like so, or you can just type 10. and then go ahead and you can change the font color if you want, and stuff like that. Strike through, superscript, subscript, small caps. So you can actually apply different attributes to your labels. Okay, for now we're just going to stick with bold, and we're going to stick with size, and we're going to leave the existing font color. Go ahead and click on OK, and as you see, you get bold and a font size 10. All right, let's go ahead and save our work. Next thing we're going to do is double click anywhere on the pie. Notice right now we have labels selected, so I'm just gonna actually not double click, I apologize, single left mouse button click. Notice that the entire pie chart is selected. The reason why we did that is when I was on labels, notice that the pane here is format data labels. Okay, if I click on the chart, that goes format data series. So rather than working on labels, now we're working on the data, and data here is the same data as the data here from the income chart. So your labels are these, and then this is your data. So let's go back here, make sure your data series is selected. And as you see, you have again several options. One of them is fill in line, another one is effects, and another one is the series options. We're going to play with all of them, but right now I would like you to be on the second one, which is effects. And we're going to scroll down and open this, expand this right arrow tip of 3D format. And we're gonna make this look a little bit less square and less, you know, it's pretty thick, this chart right now. So we have ability to change the bevel. So I'm gonna click on that, and by default you see there's no bevel. And then down here you have different bevels. You have round, you have relaxed inset, you have cross, slant. You can click on some of them and you can see what those changes would look like on the chart. You can play with, use the riblet. Okay, the reason why you don't see a lot of them, because you need to work with the width and height. So here it's only 8 points, so let's make it a little more aggressive. So let's make it 50 points, and then use the tab key and make the height 50 points as well. So now you see a little more clearly how that works. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom. I'm going to go down here, I'm going to choose the riblet, and notice how the bottom part is kind of like not smooth. So here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make it 50. I chose the riblet, and I'm going to go and make this 50 here. Go ahead and save your work. All right, now let's make one more change. Since we still have the pie selected, actually a couple more changes. One of them is going to be here in the material. As you see, materials are broken down into standard, special effect, and translucent. So let's take a look at different options. We have matte, warm matte, that's the default, then plastic, then we have metal. Then you can have wireframe, flat, soft edge, dark edge, and then in translucent you have these. So click on any of them to see what that would look like. Let's see what this one would look like. Or let's see, for example, be a little bit better. So anyway, play around, see which ones look good. This one looks very nice, it's shiny. I am going to change this one in the standard grouping. I'm going to pick plastic. So let's just do plastic, and it does indeed look like it's made out of plastic. All right, click on the shadow, click on the presets, and in the presets the default is no shadow, and you also have outer shadow, inner shadow, and then you have perspective. So take a moment, hover over them just to get idea what they're called, and you get depiction of where the shadow is going to be located. So I am going to pick, for this one, I'm going to go all the way down to perspective, and in perspective we have upper left, upper right, and then we have below. So please watch the screen. When I pick below, it puts that subtle shadow below my chart. All right, let's go ahead and save. We're almost done with the Format Data Series pane demonstration. Click on this one, which is Series option. And as you see, under Series options, you have two choices: angle of first slice and then pie explosion. So what this is all about. Angle of first slice. You can rotate your pie to your liking. Let me demonstrate. Let's say I am looking at hiking and riding, or park reservation, or any of these slices of the pie. And if I want to rotate them and, for example, have memberships be where the water park is, then I can use angle of first slice. So please watch. I'm going to start like so by clicking on the up arrow. Okay. And if you want more advanced or more rapid movement, then you can use the slider control to move your slices around. Okay. So either way, you know, you can move it. And then lastly, you can just go in here and you can type the number that you like. So I'm going to type 220. And then when I press the enter key, it rotates my pie chart accordingly. So that is one way to rotate your data, visual data, or your pie chart to your liking. Okay, you can also decrease that, and you've seen how that is done. And then the second thing, pie explosion, is for added emphasis. What we could do is we could select one of these slices. For example, let's say water park. Now notice that only 3 dots are present here, because that is the only slice I have selected. So you just click, left mouse click into it, and then here the same thing, you can move it like so, and it's like a actual pie. It comes out, it's a slice of a pie, and you can move it back by just putting this back to 0 like so. That's one way. Another way is to left click, use the select it like so. Make sure that these are your visual cues, these 3 dots. Then you hold your left mouse button and see I am moving it now. Look at this dotted line. This is showing me how far I have exploded this pie, this slice, pardon me, of the pie. And as you see here, I've exploded it at 12. It is not the most precise way to explode. So see here, I'm at 6. So you're kind of guessing. If you want to be more precise, then you can use the slider control, but the most precise one would be to just type. So I'm going to go to 15 points here. So let me click that, and as you see, I have exploded that slice to 15% so that I can draw everybody's attention to that. All right, let's go ahead and save. Click here to save, and select this slice, and then we're going to go here to fill and line. Click on, you have by default is automatic, but I want to maybe have a gradient fill. So when I click on gradient fill, I get that, and then I have some preset gradients. I can click on that, and then I can choose what kind of gradient I want. If you slow down with your cursor, when you hover over these options, you're going to see their names. By the way, these are colors that you can adjust. This is these colors are tied to your current theme, but you know, you can change them if you don't like them. So let's go ahead here and find top spotlight accent 5. So let's choose that, and as you see, we get that, and this is the gradient. See how most of the color is here, and then it's gradually becoming lighter. Okay, so that is the gradient fill. All right, let's click away anywhere inside of the chart on the white area, and then we go back to format chart area pane. So what that means, we're not going to work anymore on the pie chart, we're going to work on the background. Okay, so this is the chart area, all this that you see in white, and here we're also going to click on the gradient fill, and as you see, it's by default trying to give us this fill. We can change that by clicking on preset gradients, and you can choose any one that you like. I'm going to go with the light gradient accent 4. Okay, so now we have that, we have nice shadow, and if you want, you can add a border to your chart. That is done here in the border. So we can select solid line for border, and then you can choose what color you want. So pick any color that you like. I'm gonna go with this green one. I'm gonna add it. Now we can't see it, it's very minute, and that's because the width is very thin. Here's only 0.75 points, so make it, let's say, 6 points, and then press the enter key, and you see it's a little thick, so maybe make it a little less, maybe make it you know, let's make it 4, like that. Okay, so you know, whatever thickness you want to choose there, as long as you know how to make that. All right, go ahead and close the pane, and then go ahead and save your work. All right, take a look at your chart, notice the percentages, and we said before that this is just a visual representation of this data here. So if I was to change anything in here on this spreadsheet, that will be reflected definitely in here. So what I would like to do at this point, I'm going to take a snapshot of this chart. In the class, we used the snipping tool because we were on Windows. Here I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to use keystroke sequence, which is Shift, Command, and number 4. And I'm just going to copy or take a screenshot of this chart. Okay, so here's the screenshot. So let me put it here so we have it. Okay, and we're going to use this for comparison purposes. Okay, if you're working on the Windows machine, then I have Windows here. You're going to go here, click on Windows, and then you're going to type snip, like so. And as you see, you get snipping tools. And then in your with your snipping tools, you're going to click on New, and then you can choose the mode. I had freeform mode in whatever I was doing before. You can change it to rectangular, and then as you see, you get this cursor, and you can then do the same thing, get a snapshot of the current values in your chart. Okay, I'm gonna move it to my other screen so it's not in the way, so just bear with me. Let me do that, and then I'm gonna go now to income, and let's pick one of these. Maybe let's take one that has a lot of money. This one here, it is 21%, 1,178,000, and so on and so forth. So let's change that. That is 21%. Let's go back here, and that's actually the one that we exploded, so it's 21%. So that would be interesting to see. So let's go ahead, let's go back to income, and then here with this selection, I'm just going to type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that will be 123,456, which reduces it to 3%. So from 21% that we had here in my screenshot, now we should go to, and let me make this a little smaller so that we can see, we go now to 3%. Okay, so that was water park, went to 3%. All right, now let me go back, let me move this guy to a different screen, let me go back to here, and then let's change this to 1,500,000 500,000, just arbitrarily, like so. Now that makes it 25%. Let's go back to the chart, and now you see that water park is actually 25%. So what we've demonstrated with this sheet, income from fees, that contains the chart, is tightly coupled with the income sheet, which is basically feeding the data to this bar chart here. All right, let's go ahead and save our work, and let's go to the income chart. And I'm going to introduce a new function to you. This function is found under the data tab, and this is under forecast. So what this does, I'm gonna use what if analysis, and when you hover over it, you can see that it says that you can try various values in your formulas to see how you could reach certain goal. So let's say my goal is to have total income of $6 million. Okay, so I am going to use what if analysis, and here we have scenario manager. We can have different scenarios, we can have a goal seek, and we can have data table. I'm gonna first show you use the goal seek function. All right, so you click on that, and then this one, see how it's already selected because it was active cell. I want that to be $6 million. Okay, and then I can choose which cell I want to change. So let's say swimming pool. I want to change that cell, and I want to see what do I need to earn in that category to make this total income be $6 million. So let's go ahead and click on OK. See, it found the solution. And then if I look here, it says that the swimming pool needs to be, fees from swimming pool category needs to be 172,000. Recall we had only 104,000 before. So that is okay. Go ahead and click on OK. So you can play with that. You can set goals and then use what if analysis to see where you need to be. So if you're a manager, if you're running Parks and Recreation Center, then you can tell people who are in charge of swimming pools that they need to step up the sales in order for the Parks and Recreation Department to meet its goal. All right. Let's go ahead and save our work. Last thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the backstage, and then in backstage we're going to click on the info, and we're going to add the title. Title is going to be CGS 1060, and then it's going to be chapter 3A. Add a couple of tags. Tags are going to be, let's say, a pie chart. Then we're going to put also what if analysis, and make sure that you are an author here, so add yourself. Okay, I think that that'll be enough. Save your work. And that is pretty much it for 3A. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. Please get in touch with me if you have any questions. Thank you again. Have a nice day.